Afternoon. For those who don't know, my name is John Stevenson, and I welcome each and every one of you to our lunchtime Bible study. Hey, look, we're out and about again. Yeah, remember last week we were out at Great Seneca Park, and we did our thing out there by the lake. That was cool. Well, look, we're out here now. Yep, they got a drone out there. Don't mind them. Anyway, we're out here at Brookside Gardens here in Wheaton, Maryland. Yes, big shout out to Brookside Gardens out here, man. Just wanted to be out in nature, do something a little different out here, bring the Bible study outside. But big shout out to my man, DJ Soul. Soul, thank you so much. We want to thank you for these mixes. He's a part of our team here at the Lunchtime Bible Study, John Stevenson Ministries. And man, he's a good friend, great DJ. If you're having parties, if you're doing anything where you got a gathering and you need music, this is your man. He can even do praise and worship. Yeah, he can. You're gonna say praise and worship, we need a band. Let me tell you something, man. Get them in the presence, and if you got a DJ that can do that, you go find you a good DJ. But I got a good DJ for you. Dwayne Harris, DJ Soul. You can find him on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You can find him DJ Soul 73 at gmail.com is how you can contact him. Hit him up, man. He can come and help you out. All right, for the last month, we've been talking about love, the power of love. And I'm saying it's power in love. And here's what I'm really trying to get to, because we know that the Bible tells us to walk by faith. All the stuff that we do, it's by faith. But here's the key. Faith works by love. And if your love walk isn't there, and if you're not walking in love, could that be the thing that's hindering your faith? And so I want to talk about it, because it's easy to say that we're loving, but we'll find we're in these situations that we're not. So let's talk about love. You know, we started off in Matthew chapter 22, and the Sadducees and the Pharisees, they were tempting Jesus. One of the things that they said, you know, hey, show us, what's the greatest commandment in the law? And Jesus said, it's easy. It's you love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your mind, all your soul. Then he said, the second is just like it. That means there's something mirroring this that you got to do. And he says that you love your neighbor as you love yourself. And so one of the things we talked about a few weeks ago was how you love yourself. You know, if I don't love me properly, today I was just studying on Romans 8 about there's no condemnation. And sometimes we hold ourselves in condemnation. I didn't feel like it's something I should share today, but we'll get to that probably, because some of us are holding ourselves in condemnation over the past, over past decisions, and think God is punishing you, and God's not. So we'll get to that eventually. We'll see how God leads us to get. But right now, today, we're going to talk about just what real love is and loving your neighbor. And so I gave you just my example of one thing I dealt with at the job. And we know the holidays are coming up, and you're going to have family come over that you may have some issues with, some concerns, some discrepancies, some grievances with. And how do I treat these folks that I might not get along with so well? Or how do I treat my bosses? I don't want to call them bosses, supervisors, your managers, you know. You got leaders at your job, and sometimes it's difficult. And I'm going to tell you, that's where your test will come. So I gave you guys something last week. If you go back to the YouTube, John Stevenson Online, or even go back and find last week's Facebook Live, we did talk about one of the things that I had to deal with, a supervisor coming to me and like he wanted to fight and all kind of stuff. Well, I got another supervisor story. United States Postal Service. That's where I worked for so many years. And you know what, I'm gonna say what, I prayed for that job years ago. God's been good, gave me a good job at the Postal Service. I can't kick too much dirt on it. It's just when you're working with people who don't know how to manage well. And I personally am a person that believes you manage your money, your time. You don't manage people, you lead people. And so these guys were just, you know, you're dealing with productivity. I supervised for years in the post office, and I just didn't want to go any further with it because of how they taught you to manage. And I just didn't feel like treating people a certain way. But anyway, nonetheless, so this is 1997, 98, somewhere in there. I am now working in Gaithersburg. Everything is going great. I'm closer to home. Carrying mail is not, you got to be made for that thing, really. But anyway, I got my own route in ministry. I'm now a minister, and I'm over the Mighty Men of Valor ministry at our local church. I'm also over a few other things. I'm in the pulpit every Sunday teaching, and teaching Wednesdays, teaching ministry school, doing a lot of different things in ministry. And my faith is out there to be full-time eventually, working full-time, and it did happen. Well, anyway, we have a annual men's conference that comes up. It's not just our local church. It's a church that we're underneath that we're covenant with, and they have a national men's conference, and people from all over the country and different parts of the world will come to that. So our church is a part of it, and actually some of us, our leaders in our men's ministry, were leading that, help setting that up and organizing it. So, you know, we're working on this men's conference, and it generally happens in May for us, and so we're excited about it, and a lot of the guys are stirred up every Sunday. I'm in the pulpit pumping guys up. We're going to the conference. It's a getaway for the guys to just get deeper into things of God and learn some things. Anyhow, we're getting that worked out, and in my office, of course, you got to put leave in because we're going away for about 4 days, 3 to 4 days. And in my particular office, the way they had this operating, and it was different there than it was other places. You had to put in your leave for vacation before January 31st, so 30th. So you had January to figure out where you were on vacation. You put in your week or 2 weeks or whatever it was you were taking off. Any other leave, the way it was set up was you could not put that leave date in until 30 days before the date you wanted it, which was strange because I had never worked anywhere that did that. They basically did the calendar. If nobody was off, you got it based on seniority, however it worked. But this particular office, however they set this thing up with the union, you couldn't put that leave date in. So, of course, we didn't find out that we were going to the men's conference until like, oh my God, it was in May, like March something. So I had to wait. So I'm wondering, okay, you know, I'm going to go to the conference. We're going to make arrangements, doing all the things I got to do. Family knows what's happening. So it was towards the end of May. So in April, what you had to do, it was my 30-day date. I had to fill out my leave slip, go to the clock as soon as 7 a.m. got, you know, you punched in, and then I had to time punch my leave slip and then turn it in. In all probability, you know, if you were there, wasn't somebody there that had higher seniority or lower seniority at the clock with you, you probably got it, unless somebody had taken vacation in January. You guys kind of got what this is? Hopefully you do, because I don't want to repeat it. So anyway, that's where I am now. I punched my leave slip. I don't know if somebody else has vacation. So I give it to the supervisor, go about my day working. I said, you know what? Let me ask him. You know, we've got 2 guys, supervisor 1 and supervisor 2, that works the floor. I go to supervisor number 1 and I ask him, I say, hey, supervisor 1, I time-stamped my leave slip to be off 30 days from now because I'm going out of town. I just need to know, you know, if everything is cool with that date. If somebody's got vacation time, if they're not taking it, I can switch with them. But I did time-stamp it. Nobody else was at the clock. So if nothing is crazy, I should have the date. But, you know, just checking with you. Here's what he said to me. He said, according to your contract with your union, I got 2 weeks before that date to let you know anything. Okay. Well, the calendar's behind you, and we don't have it on the floor where we can see it. You know, I mean, you basically kind of know right now, you know, I'm not looking at anything. That's what he told me. I'm not looking at anything. He said, you'll wait 2 weeks before that date, and I'll let you know then. Now, this wasn't the first time that I had to deal with something like that. It wasn't no big deal, because you just deal with it. If you want a date off, you got it, you know. But now I'm going out of town. Now we're talking about hotel and other stuff that goes along with that. And so I said, okay, here we planning. You know, my mind said this. You know, remember last week I told you that little voice showed up and said, kick all the crap off his desk. He didn't show up. I had done enough developing myself maturity to let that guy die off. But his cousin showed up. Yeah, his cousin showed up. And his cousin said, oh, he playing with you. Yeah, he playing games with you. And so I had to go, okay, you know what? I ain't gonna get loud. I'm not gonna, you know, there's no need for that. Because, okay, he's right. If the rules say he's got 2 weeks, ain't nothing wrong. You're right, you got 2 weeks. But I felt I needed to let him know, nothing bad. I had to let him know, my priorities, because he really could have told me, yet he didn't have to. So I said, listen, man, I just want to let you know, man, because I know we've crossed this bridge before. And I really kind of let you know priorities for me, because I feel like I'm in a corner and I got to make a decision. So in my life, you know, I go to church. I'm a minister. God is number one. God is number one over everything. And right next to God is my family. So if I got to make a choice, it's going to be based on God, my family, and then I'm called to ministry. There's a call on my life. I'm called to minister, and so a lot of that has to do with my church. And so there's a lot of things I do at the church. And then the job is next. And you know, I put it in, man. I get dirty with you guys. I'll do the overtime you tell me to do. I do whatever you ask. I said, but if I'm put in the corner where I got to make a decision, that's the order. It's God, my family, ministry, and then here. And I'm not trying to be nasty with you, man. I just, like, if I'm put in the corner, I got to make a decision based on that. So I just want you to know, so we all on the same page. He said, oh, well, you got wrong priorities. You need to reprioritize. And I said, nah. He said, no, your job should be your number one priority, because that's your livelihood. So that's foolish, because you gonna lose your job, your livelihood. I said, that's how you see it, man. I said, I'm not here to debate that with you. It's just how I live my life. So I'm letting you know, if I got to make a decision, I got to make it based on that. So I left. Wasn't no argument. Wasn't no reason to get mad. Again, he following the rules. He could be nice and let me know, but he's following the rules he got set, or they got set in office. So we get, within 2 weeks, supervisor number 2 says, hey, I heard you put in leave, and it's 2 weeks prior to that leave. You can't have it. I'm gonna need you here. I said, okay. I anticipated being off. I did some things, try to work this thing out. So right now, I don't think I'm gonna be here. You know, I said it like that. He said, oh, you trying to tell me you not coming to work? I said, man, I just don't think I'm gonna be here, you know. He says, okay, well, we'll see what happens. He walks away. Now these guys, again, I'm not exaggerating. This is how some of these folks talk to you. Now, you got nice supervisors. I was one of them. But you had some guys that talk to you in a kind of way. So we get to the next week, and I said, man, Lord, am I supposed to go to this? Because now I'm getting this pressure here. I want to go, but if I ain't supposed to go, you know, I won't go. But I really feel like I need to be there. So that Tuesday, I fasted. I said, fast. I was off work. I prayed, fasted, meditated, and I didn't hear a voice, but I got that strong, you're supposed to be there. It was very strong that you're supposed to be there. So I was like, okay, I settled it. I said, okay, I think I'm gonna go. So I'll just call in the day and go, hey, I'm not coming to work, whatever, you know, because I've already told them I need to be there. No need to belabor this or make it worse. So like Thursday or Friday, and I'm gonna be off that next week, like Wednesday through Saturday. He comes to my case, supervisor number 2, and said, hey, I need to know if you're gonna be here. And I said, nah, I don't think I'm gonna be here, man. I just want to let you know. But I did talk to a couple of people. They're gonna be here at work. They're gonna cover part of my route. So-and-so's on the overtime desire list. So, you know, I know enough about both. It could work. And I looked, and based off who was off, it could work. It was workable. He was just being some kind of way. So he said, oh, so you telling me you not coming to work? You come with me. I'm like, gee. So he takes me. He goes and gets a guy named Mike, who's a shop steward. Hey, I need you to come with me. We go to the manager's office. Now, you got the postmaster, you got the manager. And he closes the door. And he says, we have an issue here. This employee put in leave, it was denied. And he's telling me that he is not coming to work on the day that I told him he needs to come to work. I brought the shop steward here, and I got you here so that we can get a clear understanding, and everything's out on the table here, what can happen if he does not come to work. So Mr. Manager, who is kind of, you know, stocky little, not little, he's kind of a big Caucasian man, had a little short mustache. Man, he leaned over that desk, and he looked at me. He says, I'm giving you a direct order that you will be here next week on them days you're supposed to be here. Do you understand me? Everything across my back, everything just, it was how he said it. And the first thing, now here's the thing, I don't know if this is true or not. First thing I thought, oh, you racist. Because that's what I thought, because that's how he was looking at me, like he was like, you know, everything, he wasn't racist. I don't know, but you know how we think sometimes, like, you know, white guy don't like me, he's probably racist. But and everybody ain't. Some of them aren't. I don't know. I didn't know what he was, but I felt it, boy. So again, something that I thought was dead on the inside of me is creeping up. And he didn't ask me if I was coming in, he just told me it's a direct order, as if I ain't talking about you gonna be here. And then the supervisor number 2 said, thank you very much, sir. He walks out the door and just walks away. Me and Mike, the shop steward, walk out. Mike says, John, why you just didn't call in sick, dude? We have to deal with this. I said, you don't even understand, man. It's not, one, I'm not sick, and so I'm not gonna say that. And number 2, he didn't understand that what I got from God. I got the peace in my heart. I felt like I was supposed to. God said, be at the conference, you know? So I was like, all right, man, don't worry about it, man. I'm good to go. He said, well, if you do continue with this, man, you know, we'll do what we got to do. I said, all right, man, you know, it's an AWOL, man. They're going to AWOL you. They can fire you, dock your pay. I said, dude, I'm cool, all right? So I'm going back on the floor, do my job, did what I had to do, carry bail. Came next week, I picked that phone up. I called supervisor number 2, said, hey, it's John Stevenson. I'm just letting you know, man, that I'm not coming in. I need to tell you for the next 3 days, because I'm not going to probably call you every single day, if that's all right, you know. So, but what did I expect him to go? Well, praise the Lord, have a good conference, hope the Lord speaks to you. Heck no. He said, fine, click, hung up. Go to the conference, excellent conference. Things happen there, supernatural, wonderful conference. Everything happened so great at this conference. I get back that Monday, and nobody said anything. Tuesday, call me in office, give me the slip, says AWOL, you are AWOL, docking your pay for these days, and we're writing you up. So I'm like, okay, no big deal. Take it to the user. Hey man, this is what they said. You knew this was coming, so here you go. So he said, okay, John, we'll deal with it. I think no more about it. 2 days later, we have a meeting on the floor with all the employees, and they're given some instructions, and they're going to give out the employee of the month for the month of June. Who's the employee of the month? Who was employee of the month? Guess who was employee of the month voted? I was. They made me employee of the month. Can you believe that? So they gave me this book. I got a gift. I got a watch, and you get a chance to park in the employee of the month parking spaces, which is located right next to the postmaster and the supervisor's spaces. So for the whole month, Mr. AWOL written up insubordination guy was parked in the employee of the month because he was the employee of the month. Don't you know I stepped out that car every morning like Spice Adams with my Curtis Mayfield pumping loud my pimp music. Ding, 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 Freddie's dead. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I sure did, man. That's what I said. I felt like a pimp. I didn't feel like a pimp. Anyway, I felt like, man, God's covering me here. So anyway, so I got to do something on the screen here. You guys, we're good. All right. So anyway, I was employee of the month. I just totally forgot about this thing here. Come maybe a year later, one of the shop steward, another shop steward came to me named Steve. He said, hey man, you know your thing went to level 2. I said, what thing? The grievance you filed about the AWOL. I said, what AWOL? I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, you had a grievance. I said, I didn't have any grievance, man. He said, yeah, you did. It was AWOL, they docked your pay, and so. I'm like, oh my God, that thing. Yeah, the men's conference. He says, yeah, man, you won that case. I said, you kidding me? Yeah, nothing's in your record. Everything is clear. You know what I learned out of that? One, God is always working behind the scene. Even when you forget, he's always working, always doing stuff. I find that out, you know. So sometimes you just pray, put your faith out there and let it go. Just let it go. Just let God handle it. Because I just totally forgot about it. And I was so at peace with it, I didn't even care. Now, again, let me say this. This is my testimony. Don't you say, I'm going to do what John did, da-da-da-da. You know, I felt I had peace and I prayed fast and all that stuff, man. Don't you do anything unless you hear. Because we see people will read something in the Bible like, oh, march around the walls of Jericho. And you marching around cars and houses and claiming stuff that ain't yours. Don't do that. Next, I found out who I was. And that's what I really want to talk about. Love Real true love, when you're trying to develop, will expose you for who you are. Find out what I wasn't good at. And I often say this during these Bible studies, that I can say I'm patient. I got married and find out how patient I wasn't. And so when you're praying to be developed and you're developing yourself in love, you're going to be tested to find out where you really are. And that is your check engine light. I found out my flesh was bothered by how people talk to me. And I still had to deal with that for years to come, because I didn't like the way of you talking them disrespectful to me. And I had to deal with that, because it didn't matter how you talk to me. One, just don't touch me. Don't put your hands on me, because now we got to go to another level with something else. I don't like that. But talking what you say is just what you say, because I'm going to do what I'm going to do. How you say it to me, how you talk to me don't matter. I don't care if you are a supervisor. And here's my thing. I was so at peace, I didn't think about losing money. Sometimes when you got fear, I'm going to lose my job, I'm going to fear this is going to happen, you'll react and you'll find out you're not walking in love. You can't walk in fear and love at the same time. So my love, it just comes that fear. I wasn't afraid about money, and I think I got money in. I didn't even lose anything on that check. It's just so far beneath me that I can't even remember. I know we didn't lack anything. We wasn't lacking that couple of weeks or whatever. It was just all good. So in your love walk, I think about this now, the fruits of the Spirit. We got to go to those in Galatians chapter 5, because we got to talk about those. You'll find out where you really are when you're tested. You'll find out, do you have long suffering? Are you patient? Are you kind when pressure is on? How do you react? I could have reacted and say, man, who you talking to, man? You want to talk about, you command me and it's a direct order. Ain't nobody ordering me. What you think this is, slavery? Yeah, I could have went there. Then now I'm dealing with something else of saying something out my mouth. Everything don't deserve a response. I didn't respond to him. I'm like, he asked me, do you understand? I understood. So the answer was yes. I'm still going to do what I'm going to do. It don't matter. And some things that are going on, and we're arguing about politics, we're arguing about vaccines and all that. What's the big deal? You're going to do what you're going to do. It don't matter what nobody think. You're going to do what you're going to do. If the rule is you got to wear a mask, I'm going to wear a mask and go in here, or I'm not going in there. What's the big deal? Well, I won't be around nobody that ain't got a vaccine. If they ain't vaccinated, then stay home. Because you're going to be around people that ain't got it. And you ain't going to know that. What's the big deal? What's the big deal? Well, the president is this and gas is up. Okay, what you going to do about it? And you going to argue with everybody, fight, and don't, man, stop. Stop all that. You need peace. Yes, love, joy, peace. I need peace. And so peace is part of, to me, is part of that love thing. Love yourself by giving yourself peace, and everything ain't important to be fussing about. Everything ain't arguing, because truth be told, think about it. You gonna do what you want to do and what you gotta do. So, man, I don't care how anybody says anything to you, how anybody speaks to you, they talk to me nasty, they did that, man, who cares about all that? Man, just still do what you're gonna do, how you gonna do, and deal with the mess later. I got a friend of mine, he talks about it. You know, it said, how is it, well, here's the whole thing. He told me the whole thing, because my mama used to say these little sayings, you know, curiosity killed the cat, and I said it one day. She said, well, satisfaction brought him back. It's one of them sayings about the chips lie where they made, whatever. He said when you chopping down a tree and the chips fall, he said you clean them up later, something like that. You guys write in the comments. Please share this out too. Type the rest of that. I'm like, oh, so while you're doing what you got to do, you chopping away at life. Listen, stuff gonna happen. Okay, sometimes I got to keep moving. I'll fix some things later. And so that was one of the things for me. I'll fix that later. Look, but I didn't have to do it. God fixed it. So I'm telling you, here's what we are. Thanksgiving, Christmas, holidays are coming up, New Year's. I want you guys to think, okay, I'm going to face some things that are going to test me, but everything don't deserve my response. Love is kind, gentle. And sometimes for me, I don't give a response. If I'm mad, even at my house, you won't catch me responding. I'm like, I don't have nothing to say about this right now, because I know I'm getting ready to say the wrong thing. So just take the mature route and just say, I ain't got nothing to say. All right, that's this week's Bible study. Yeah, y'all gonna challenge it in the comments. You know, some people, well, you gotta tell people whatever. Listen, I'm going Bible with you. This is what I want, peace. God has the answer in his word to everything. You go through Proverbs and you read every Proverbs every day. You will find out the things that you probably are doing to cause you not to have peace or to cause issues in your life. And so I'm giving you something here to help you not have the issues. All right, listen here, JSM, John Stevenson Ministries. This is what we call our lunchtime Bible study. It's our Vision for Change our church. And I've got so many people that love us, and they sow and they give to the ministry, and I thank you guys for your faithful giving. If you guys are interested in sowing into the ministry, listen, we pray over every seed. I believe every seed you sow, financial seed, it's a seed, you're giving, you get a return on it. And so this is good ground to sow into, and I've had people give me testimonies of things that they've sowed and gotten. I do sowing myself. I give. This past week I was just giving because I heard it in my heart to give here, and do that, and the return comes. My mouth is involved with it. I always got harvest coming in. I call my seed something. I name it something. This seed is for this seed is for this seed is for that. And then I put my faith on it. And according to what my faith is, it comes in. So I'm telling you, you can sow into this ministry, and it's definitely good ground. If you want to text, 73256 is the way to do so. That's a fast, easy way to give. Keyword JSM, another link will come into you. Click that link, it will take you to our realm portal, and you can give accordingly. We keep records. Yes, everything is tax deductible. Or you can mail it to P.O. Box, Vision for Change Church, or John Stevenson Ministries at 7901 P.O. Box. That's our P.O. Box, Gaithersburg, Maryland, 20898. Or our website, jsmonline.org. Thank you all so much for your faithful giving. We love you all so very much for contributing and sowing. It's sowing a seed. Go by our YouTube page. Yes, John Stevenson Online. You can catch all the past lunchtime Bible studies. I got to change those thumbnails so you guys can see what is, so I can name them. We got a podcast. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, Google. Yes. And our YouTube page is always up. And so I just appreciate you guys supporting us and what we do here. Listen, pray, Lord, help me to love. Please do me a favor, share this out. Share it. We want people to get a hold of this word. If it's been a blessing to you, definitely share it out. And then add your comments. If you got scripture references while I'm preaching, you can throw those in there. Got testimonies, throw those in the comments. I have no problem with that at all. Okay, I love you all so very much. Remember, all things are possible if you can just believe. I'll see you next week.